Hey there guys, it's your good pal Wiggly, and welcome back to more Let's Play Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trials and Tribulations Blind. In the last episode, we finished up the second investigation period of Recipe for Turnabout, and in this episode, we're heading into the trial. And I am very stumped on how this whole thing happened. Even though the game has made it abundantly clear who did it, I'm shakier than usual as to the how of it. Good morning, Mr. Wright. Hi, Maggie. Good morning, Maggie. So, what do you think is going to happen today, sir? Yesterday's session didn't go so well and ended on a giant mystery. That's true. And we still haven't solved a single part of it yet. True. Are you okay, Nick? Huh? Oh, yeah, of course. I saw that little flash of doubt in your eyes. No, that wasn't doubt. That was, determination. Why don't I believe you? It's nearly time, Maggie. You'd better get going to the defendant's seat. Roger, don't let me down, Mr. Wright. I'm counting on you. Okay, no pressure or anything. Hey, pal! Gumshoe, why are you so mad? Hey, Detective Gumshoe. Quit stressing Maggie out. She doesn't need that. Oh, of course. How did you know she was stressed? I was watching through the doorway. Man. Come on. Oh. You look like you lost the case already. Show a bit of confidence, will you, pal? Here, maybe this'll help. Hey, there it is. I was wondering when the hell this was gonna come back. Tell me, please, the poison was in it. Please. Huh? Have you taken up aromatherapy too? Not in a million years, pal. Don't tell me that you don't remember this thing. Come to think of it, that doesn't look like one of those aromatherapy bottles. This is the small bottle that turned up in Tribulations' kitchen a couple days ago. Wow, look at all these little bottles. Oh, they're aromatherapy oils. He's got so many, they're overflowing to the floor. Hey, wait a minute. There's one bottle that's different from all the others. Well, what do you know? And it doesn't have a label either. And it doesn't smell. We finally got the analysis results back from the lab. Tell me. So, what is it? Is it the poison? I'm afraid not, pal. Okay. It's medication. Okay. Like the medication? Medication? Yeah, for ears. Topical use only, apparently. Okay, why the hell was it in the kitchen? I mean, that establishes potentially that Armstrong was involved in the murder, which obviously he was, but I mean, like, it being in the kitchen doesn't help a whole lot, because Maggie was also in the kitchen. So, how am I going to use that? What do I even make of that? For ears, you mean? Yeah, it's the medication Glenn Elg was using for his ruptured eardrum. What was Glenn Elg's ear medicine doing in the kitchen? Found, the victim's ear medicine found covered in unidentified fingerprints in the kitchen. Okay. Why are they unidentifiable? What about the unidentified fingerprints? Anything on that? Someone screwed up, so they only had time to analyze the contents of the bottle. What? Damn, okay. Another hour, and they might have gotten something on the prints, but come on. That's going to weaken its impact as a piece of evidence. Yeah, that's not the smoking gun I hoped it was. Okay, pal, this is it. Make sure your defense is impregnable today, got it? Thanks, Gumshoe. Man, now I'm even less... I feel even less stable. What happened at Tribulations? Today's trial. I'm gonna expose that guy for what he's done, or my name isn't Phoenix Wright. My badge isn't made of cardboard, damn it. Alright, Godot. Ready for round 2? Or I guess... yeah, round 2 of this case. Round 4 total, I think, maybe? Court is now in session for the trial of Maggie Bird. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Ready and waiting as always. Hey, you responded, Your Honor. Very good. Then we'll get underway at once. Yesterday we heard the testimony of Mr. Victor Kudo. He claims to have witnessed the defendant putting a powder into the victim's coffee. However, the witness's testimony was plagued with a number of problems. The mark on the rim of the cup shows that the victim drank from it with his right hand. But according to the old man's testimony, he picked it up with his left hand. Thank you, Mr. Cadeau. Furthermore, according to the witness's account, the victim was listening to the radio with an earpiece in his left ear. Yet the victim's left eardrum was ruptured, which made him effectively deaf in that ear. It's amazing how many contradictions a single case can have, huh, Nick? Huh. Allow me to enlighten you, Your Honor. The world, you see, keeps turning, and we must turn with it. Here we go. You've lost me already, Mr. Godot. Don't let the mysteries of yesterday mystify you today. Only losers think like that. You gotta change with the times. That's one of my rules. I mean, true. Are you implying that you've resolved these contradictions? You know the answers to these riddles. The old guy wasn't just throwing seed in here, he was throwing us off the scent. And today I'll prove it. Very well. Let the first witness take the stand. Of course. Okay. Here we go. And you are?
Oh, bonjour, everyone! I am Jean Armstrong, the owner and head chef of Le Tribulations restaurant. Enchanté!
I really hope I don't have to dissect his weird French. Forgive me for asking, witness, but are you a woman?
Oh la la, monsieur! As you can see, I am le pert and perky gentleman, no?
Didn't you say earlier you were female? Are you gender fluid? Oh God, I have no idea. On the day of the incident, you were in Tribulations' kitchen. Isn't that right?
With you, monsieur.
What?
Everything feels right.
Spit take? Oh, no, okay. Huh. Wow, he's totally unfazed. Doesn't anything intimidate this guy? Very well, your testimony, please, witness. Please tell the court what happened that day at Tribulations.
Oui, volontiers.
I don't know how to say that. I don't know what it means either. Okay.
When it all happens, there were just 2 customers in my restaurant. I remember I was experimenting with some new art decors that day. Like having a large mirror between the tables, for example. What?
What do you mean?
Oui, perhaps that is what the old man was looking at. There was no mirror. La cup, la earpiece, and la glasses. You would have seen everything in reverse, non?
Huh. Mirror?
Oui, un grand mirror, la most enormous mirror. Where
the hell did I take that? Oh God, okay. And suddenly the mystery disappears. Like I said, the world keeps turning, so roll with it. That would explain the coffee cup and the earpiece conundrum. The mirror would have made everything appear back to front.
What the heck? It's way too early in the morning for this to be happening to me.
Now then, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination.
Okay.
Oh God, I have no idea. Alright, hold on. This is gonna take some time. Okay, I had to think. Let's review our evidence. We have the doodle, which very clearly has to do with the virus, him getting his money back, to repay the $100,000 debt that he owes to, Tender Lender, that's what it was called, and he won $500K, but he's not going to spend any of that, whatever. Okay. And then, article from December 5th says I was trounced and my client was found guilty. I don't feel like that's going to be important here. The job listings, we still have that. The lunch special cost $20, scooter smashed up. Jean's debt. Okay, just focus on the mirror for now. When the incident occurred, I broke the vase at my seat. I'm sorry. Okay. They gave us that for some reason. Okay, so if there was a mirror in between the tables and he was sitting... We've established that Victor Kudo, to be able to see the victim, had to have been in the bottom right. So, for him to have seen a reflection of Glenn, then if the earpiece was in his right ear, he would have seen it in the left. Right? Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Okay. Well, that checks out. I don't really know... Wow, what do I do with that? Time of death was between 1:30 and 2:30. Crime photo, right here. I mean, there's no mirror. So, like... that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Coffee cup. Okay, and then... the lottery ticket, $500,000. The apron with the big red stain. Poison found in Maggie's pocket. We have so much evidence. People told me that the cases in this game were much harder than before, and I'm kind of feeling it. The bag, but we have the medicine now, which was in the kitchen. December 3rd, meet with the tiger. Okay, paper badge. This all has to do with El Tigre, so I don't think we need to deal with any of this. Yeah, that's not really important right now either. Most thrilling 10 minutes of your life every Monday from 1:30 p.m. Okay, the lunch doesn't matter. That has to do with El Tigre. Found lying in tender lender at Tribulations. This proves that the tiger was there. Okay. Anything of note in here? Okay. Alright. Okay, finally I have a lead. The victim was a programmer, wore an HMD over the left eye. This 100% confirms that the HMD was over the left eye. Okay. Whew. And plus, also Lisa's is as well. So, okay, just looking again to see... Called police by payphone. Has a large debt and prior convictions for theft. Okay. So we can use that to implicate him for stealing the medicine. Bruto Cadaverini, all this stuff. Okay, got it. Sorry, really needed to run back through that because we've got a lot of information to deal with this case. Let's start pressing. When it all happened, there were just 2 customers in my restaurant. And who were the 2 customers exactly?
My, of course, the young man who died. And the other not-so-young man.
You are referring to yesterday's witness, I presume. What about the other man Maggie says she saw at the table? Something tells me Mr. Armstrong isn't planning to disclose his existence. We need some hard evidence first before we can bring him up, don't we? Yes. I guess I'll just have to try a different approach for the time being. Okay. I remember I was experimenting with some new art decor that day. You were experimenting with art deco? How come I've never heard about that before today?
You are not familiar with the language of interior design, monsieur?
Please stay on topic. Now, why didn't you tell the court about this before?
But I did, just a few moments ago.
Excuse me, Mr. Armstrong. This deco you mentioned, are you referring to some sort of decoction? I don't know that word.
No, art deco, as in a style of design, Your Honor. He's talking about the interior design. Walls, ceilings, carpets, that kind of thing.
Ah, yes, of course, that deco.
I was trying to achieve a more effeminate look for my restaurant. I was planning the most bold remodeling of la decor.
Was it the mirror that you have in back? Like having a large mirror between the tables, for example, okay. How big of a mirror are we talking about here?
Both. Something about 4 meters wide and, about 2 meters high.
That's really big. Let's see, if 1 meter is about 1 yard. Holy glass in a frame, that's huge.
I was intending to install it on the ceiling eventually.
The ceiling? Was there a mirror on the ceiling? I don't remember. I don't think we ever got to see the ceiling in gameplay.
No, but I decided not to go through with it in the end.
What should I do? Should I ask him more about the mirror or not? Might as well. If you really had such a large mirror in the restaurant, someone would have noticed it. But there's nothing about a mirror in Mr. Kudo or Maggie Burr's testimony. That's a great point.
But...
Objection!
What?
You didn't ask, Trite. You have only yourself to blame for such sloppy work.
What?
A mirror was delivered to Tribulations on the day before the incident.
Really?
Okay. As Mr. Armstrong testified, he was carrying out some design changes, and as it turned out, he didn't actually use the mirror in the end.
This just doesn't add up. Even if a mirror was delivered to Tribulations, it doesn't prove that it was in the restaurant on the day of the crime.
Yeah. Ha! If you want to doubt someone, Trite, look in the mirror. I'm sure the person looking back at you will be dubious enough. So the witness yesterday had seen the victim reflected in a mirror.
Okay, so... the game's doing the damn thing right. Proving a negative's impossible, but Phoenix Wright wants me to do it anyway. So, oh boy, that's the name of the game here. Perhaps that is what the old man was looking at. Normally, I'd expect people to know the difference between a reflection and a real object.
Normally? How does normality come into this? That's lame, Trite, even for you.
Huh?
Are you trying to say that if something isn't normal, it isn't possible? Is that it? I mean, we've disproved that plenty of times.
Where does that leave the porky-headed lawyer and the top-knot chick over there?
And the ungodly cool guy with the mask over here. Well, Trite?
Ah! Not the hair! I do not have a top knot.
Mr. Godot is correct. A lack of normality is no basis for discounting an argument.
Bien, logic as one la day. I thought it said the lady, but it's la day. The cup, the earpiece, and the glasses. You would have seen everything in reverse, no? Okay, let's press it first. I don't want to be too hasty. Everything? He would have seen everything in reverse. Hey, Nick, we should take a second to think about what old Seedy said in his testimony. How did he phrase it again? The boy was wearing the earpiece on the same side as the green lens of his specs. No question, you can lock me up if I'm wrong. It was in his left ear, no doubt. And then he used the same hand to pick up the cup, his left hand. If he saw everything he described reflected in a mirror, then everything he said he saw on the left was actually on the right, huh? Yeah, and that clears up all the problems with his testimony, I guess. Or does it? Huh. It's kind of hard to believe everything's the fault of the mirror, but... do you think old Seedy has saw everything through a reflection? Oh my god, my brain just totally paused there. If he did, it would explain all the contradictions in his testimony. But that just makes the situation worse for Maggie. There's gotta be something in that old man's testimony. We've just gotta dig deeper. Okay. So, I mean, we have literally a photo of him wearing it on the left side. So, that... yeah, okay. Whew. Thank God I checked through all that before. The coffee cup, the earpiece, and the HMD. Let's think back over Mr. Kudo's testimony for a second, shall we? The boy was wearing the earpiece on the same side as the green lens of his specs. No question, you can lock me up if I'm wrong. It was his left ear, without a doubt. So, to summarize, we were told both the HMD and the earpiece were on the victim's left side. Now, if Mr. Kudo saw that as a reflection in the mirror, it means both the HMD and the earpiece were actually on the victim's right side. And plus we also, I guess also I have the crime photo, which literally, oh no it doesn't, never mind. I thought you could see it. I was thinking of the flashbacks. Clever. Okay. Exactement, you see, monsieur. Now that you think about it, it is not so hard, non? Unfortunately, that's where we run into a monumental contradiction with the facts. If Mr. Kudo really did see everything in a mirror, why is it that the HMD is now on the wrong side of his head? Got him.
Order! Order! Mr. Wright is correct. If the witness genuinely observed the victim reflected in a mirror, then we would expect the victim's eyepiece to have been over his right eye. How bitter. Trite, you should have a taste of his bitterness. It'll calm you down in no time. Don't you do it.
Are we talking about your coffee or something completely different?
You don't understand the way the witness thinks. How he thinks. You remember this, I presume.
The I broke the vase, sorry, apology I mean, Mr. Kudo's sworn testimony.
Exactly. The old man has one very grievous habit, other than throwing seeds. The more of an impression something makes, the more muddled his mind makes it.
I guess so.
And what's the most striking thing about Mr. Elk? Clearly it's the victim's eyepiece. And that's my point. The old man strikes again.
Well, I think we'd have to, like, get, like, a mental evaluation done on Victor Kudo, but okay.
Mr. Elk's HMD made a big impression on the old man.
I saw the earpiece and those newfangled spectacles he was wearing. Oh yes, they were both on his left ear. Do you hear? His left ear.
Huh. Well, Trite.
And you're calling my logic shaky? Like, this is just complete speculation. That's the worst but best impression of Kudo ever. Wow, I really thought he was old seedy for a minute there. Godot's good. I didn't do him justice, sorry.
Enough. I must agree that yesterday's witness was irresponsibly rash in most of his testimony.
Bad luck, Nick. Looks like the boil of a contradiction you found is just a rash. Okay, that's weird.
A mirror can't be beaten by a handful of seeds, nor can it lie. So, what exactly was the old man looking at? Fill us in, Mr. Armstrong. Go on, tell the court. We're all ears.
Oui, I can explain. Please, if you will look at the plans of the restaurant.
My brain is moving faster than my mouth can.
Alors, is everyone sitting comfortably? La mirror, it was in the middle of the restaurant, dividing the two halves.
Okay. That's what you're saying. Okay. That's strange.
Here's the only seat from which you could have seen an image of the victim.
Okay. So, Kudo's saying, okay, whatever. We're just gonna go with crazy old man, I guess. Alright.
That was the seat at the table next to the victims. That was where the old man was sitting. After the terrible incident occurred, I moved the mirror so it was not in the way. But naturally, I did not touch anything else.
Okay.
I see no problems with the explanation we have just heard. From the table next to the victims, Mr. Kudo could have seen the victim in the mirror.
What a naughty little coquet I am. Confusing all the men like this. Oops.
Don't worry about it. We can keep up, except for the guy breaking out in a cold sweat over there again.
I hate that guy.
He said you didn't touch anything else apart from the mirror. Are you quite sure about that?
Volontiers, of course.
Okay, well, we don't have anything 100% incriminating him. I mean, okay, we know that he took the losing lottery ticket, I guess, but I don't really have any evidence that can prove that.
Very well, Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, if you please.
Oh, having to think about reflections is difficult. Okay.
La mirror, it was in the middle of the restaurant, dividing the two halves.
Okay. So, run this by me again. The mirror was here, correct?
Oui.
We? Really?
Because I know if I were you, I wouldn't have put a mirror there. It would be in the way.
Look who's talking, Trite.
Huh?
You're obstructing my view, among other things.
Okay. But, this is my seat in the courtroom.
Tribulations' charm is that it gives you an impression that you're the only customer. Temporarily placing a mirror in that spot would hardly be in the way. Unlike you, Trite.
I tell you, monsieur, la mirror was there in the middle of the restaurant.
Okay.
There's only one seat from which you could have seen the image of the victim.
Okay. And where would that be?
Oh la la! Look how you lean towards me. I always attract the younger boys. Maybe I should keep you in suspense a little longer.
Mr. Armstrong, tell the court of what you know at once.
I attract the older ones too, you know, handsome. Shall I tease you too?
I'm already seeing a very hot someone, so I'm afraid you'll be waiting for a long time.
Who are you seeing? What? It's coffee. I bet she has mocha cream skin and a cappuccino perfume. That's one of the best Maya lines.
Bien, I will tell you. There was only one seat from which you could have seen.
So that was a seat at the table next to the victims. That was where the old man was sitting. Okay. So why can you only see the victim from that particular seat?
My monsieur, it is obvious, non? If you look at the plans, you will understand. The victim would have been reflected in the mirror like so. If you were sitting at the table next to him, you would see everything, non?
So that's the seat old CD was sitting in on that day. Okay. When the poisoning happened. The old man was sitting at the table next to the victim? Why does that seem kind of odd? After a terrible incident occurred, I moved the mirror so it was not in the way. Did you move the mirror while Mr. Kudo was off calling the police?
Oui, exactement. I carried it out of the restaurant scene.
You moved a huge mirror like that all by yourself?
What can I say? I know how to pick the things up, Ansem.
Godot actually laughed at something. Well, given the witness's physique, I suppose it is possible. Did you move anything else from the crime scene, Mr. Armstrong?
I looked like the obliging type, no?
But naturally, I did not touch anything else. Are you sure about that?
I touched nothing except the mirror.
Mr. Wright, is there something the witness has said that doesn't match the crime scene? Yeah, there is. I just can't put my finger on what exactly. Huh. Suffering from a case of heartburn, trite.
Oh, I have just the thing for that. An oil with golden mirror and Frankensteins.
Frankensteins? Is that... what? I know myrrh and frankincense. Add a few drops to your coffee and voila, enjoy. No, maybe don't do that. Focus, Phoenix. Breathe. I need to ignore those two and just find some evidence. It's pretty strange, though, isn't it? I mean, nobody mentioned anything about a really large mirror. You think someone would have, but Maggie didn't, and neither did old Seedy. Then the only logical explanation is that there was no mirror inside Tribulations that day. Now I've just got to prove it somehow. Okay. So... the game's kind of nudging me in two directions. Like, it's telling me to disprove the mirror, but it was also like, he touched something, which I assume is the other lottery ticket. But we don't have the other losing lottery ticket for $1. Was it $1 or 50 cents? No, Gumshoe won 50 cents. Okay, that's not that important. Okay. Yeah, this is hard. This is really hard, actually. Maybe it's just me, but I'm having a lot of trouble. Okay, let's think this through. If there was a mirror in there, and Kudo was looking at it from that side, what does that mean? So, Kudo was distracted by the waitress who he saw put stuff in the coffee, and when he saw Glenn die, he claims that he got up and he knocked over the vase. Oh, hold on. Wait a minute. Hold on. Hold on. Aha! There it is. Ah, got it. Okay. The vase is not knocked over. Okay. Whew. That took a lot. That was all of the Wiggly brain power. Every bit of it. Oh my god. Okay. Only see it from where you could have seen an image of the victim. That's true. That was where the old man was sitting. That's not possible. Should I present? Okay. I guess let's go with the crime photo. Yeah, that's correct. Oh, woo! I feel so smart. That was... the gears were turning, man. The piece of evidence, this piece of evidence contradicts with the testimony we have heard, Your Honor. The crime photo. Yes, this photo clearly shows something that theoretically should not exist. What on earth do you mean by that, Mr. Wright?
should not exist.
Huh. Sounds like you're describing yourself, Trite. Godot, what is your fucking problem with me? Who are you?
Now then, if the defense would please clarify its statement. What is the something that should not exist in this photo?
Okay. Got him, baby. I think it's pretty obvious that this is what should not be in the picture.
The vase? What possible connection does that have with this witness's testimony?
Your Honor, I'm telling you that there should not have been that there should have been no vase on this table. I thought he used a double negative and said should not have been no vase. Because it is very clearly contradicts with this piece of evidence. Nice. We're breaking it down, baby. There's one thing that was clearly demonstrated by yesterday's testimony. Mr. Kudo broke the vase that was on the table where he was sitting. And yet, as the court can see, there is an unbroken vase on the table next to the victim. Why? Because Mr. Kudo was not, in fact, sitting at the table next to the victim at all.
Don't be an idiot, Trite. That's impossible. That seat's the only one Kudo could have seen the victim's reflection from.
Exactly. There is only one conclusion we can draw from this contradiction. There was no mirror in Tribulations that day, that's correct. Your testimony, Mr. Armstrong, is an elaborate lie. Mon Dieu! That was a weird delivery, I'm sorry.
Don't try to confuse the court, Trite. Obviously, the witness cleaned up the vase, while the police were taking their time getting to the crime scene.
Unfortunately, Mr. Godot, that doesn't quite work for me. Mr. Armstrong already testified to the contrary. In his own words, I did not touch anything else except the mirror. Aha!
Well, witness, what do you have to say for yourself?
I was right. There was no mirror in the restaurant that day.
In light of this revelation, we return back to the original problem. Why did the victim have an earpiece in an ear in which he couldn't hear? Huh. You only get one shot in life. There's no turning back. If you want to claim that mirror wasn't there, Trite, then this problem is all yours. How do you explain what the old man saw?
If I can answer this, then I'll be that much closer to the truth. I can feel it. Are you going to be okay? Can you really solve this contradiction, Nick? There's more than just this one contradiction, Maya. What do you mean? Remember what Maggie told us? There was another man at the victim's table, and... Okay, last episode I theorized the possibility that the murder happened on a different day than the day that Kudo and Maggie saw the whole thing go down. Well, no, Maggie saw the real thing, maybe, and Kudo saw a different day where maybe Violetta was the maid? Maybe? It had to have been staged, right? That's the only way I can make any sense of this. And there was a sample CD on the victim's table. It all flies in the face of Mr. Kudo's testimony. And I think I know the reason. Why nothing in this case is adding up. But how did they fake it?
Well, Mr. Wright, let's hear your answer.
Yes, Your Honor. The reason behind all the contradictions in Mr. Kudo's testimony is simple. Mr. Kudo made a mistake, the ear doctor made a mistake, and the victim was a phony. Okay. It would have to be the victim's a phony, right? Because Mr. Kudo made a mistake. We're flying 100% out of the assumption that he was telling the truth. The ear doctor made a mistake, that's irrelevant. So I guess the victim was a phony? This case is riddled with contradictions. Yet, there is one very simple answer that clears them all up.
And what is that?
The incident Mr. Kudo witnessed and the incident the victim experienced were two completely different events. Okay. Nice. Got it.
What?
Yes, the victim that Mr. Kudo saw wasn't Mr. Glenn Elg at all. It was an imposter. A phony pretending to be Mr. Elg. Okay, who did it though? I still have so many questions about this. Obviously, unlike the victim, there was nothing wrong with the imposter's left eardrum. That's how he ended up wearing the earpiece in his left ear by mistake. Ah, I didn't even piece that together. Okay.
Order in the court. Settle down or I'll clear the courtroom. Quiet, Gramps. Why don't you clear out of here, huh? What did you say? Trite, are you saying that what Mr. Kudo saw was a setup?
Yes. Someone pretended to be Glenn Elg and acted out the whole coffee poisoning, all for the express purpose of creating a witness out of one Mr. Victor Kudo.
Get real, Trite. Why would anyone want to do that?
To frame Maggie, to get everybody else off the hook, I guess? Isn't it obvious? The thing Mr. Kudo was most insistent about in his testimony was... The serving girl brought him a Javachino, but she put something in it. That's the serving girl right there in the defendant's chair. I remember her well.
It's so hard to believe, but...
There was one and only one reason to show Mr. Kudo this fake poisoning. To show Maggie Bird in the act of poisoning the coffee.
Are you insinuating that the waitress in the old man's story was a fake as well? It's true there were no other customers in the restaurant at the time, but... It's also true that the chief was there.
He would have noticed the chef was there. He would have noticed what was happening.
That's right. Well, witness, if your restaurant really was the seat of such theatrics, you would have known about it, correct?
Ooh la la, this is most difficult for me.
No, it's quite simple. All you have to do is testify. You are under oath after all. Was there, in fact, a phony at Tribulations that day? The defense demands that Mr. Armstrong tell the whole truth about what happened.
The defense's request for additional testimony is accepted. You will accurately explain in detail the events at the restaurant that day.
Oui.
Okay. I'm really flying by the seat of my pants here. I do not have this figured out at all. Oh boy.
La victim, Monsieur Elg, he came to my restaurant alone. I remember the old man arrived not long after him. There were no other customers. When he got word he won the lottery, Elg became very excited. It was approximately 5 minutes later that the poisoning incident occurred. No, there was no time for a phony to do the acting.
Okay.
Just so we're clear, there was no mirror in the restaurant after all.
Je vous demande pardon. Forgive me, Your Honor. I lied because I wanted this mess to be cleared up quickly.
What you've just done is commit perjury, Mr. Armstrong.
Well, you didn't throw Old Bag in jail.
I will decide how to punish you later.
Oui.
For now, we will hear your cross-examination. Mr. Wright, if you please.
He took that perjury charge a bit too well. But I'm guessing he'll be in more serious trouble after this cross-examination. Okay. Once again, I'm starting from zero. I don't know where to take this. So let's just start pressing. He came to my restaurant alone. Was he alone at his table as well?
Oui, I saw him from the kitchen.
Yet the defendant, Miss Bird, remembers it differently. She swears there was another man at the victim's table.
Unfortunately for you, Trite. Yesterday's witness also testified that the victim was alone. You know, seeing you squirm like that reminds me of a certain coffee's bittersweet bite.
What kind of coffee has he been drinking? It's not coffee, it's love. It's love that's bittersweet. Okay. Hearing Maya say that makes her seem wise all of a sudden. I remember the old man arrived not long after him. Okay. By old man, you mean Victor Kudo, correct?
Oui, he comes often for my special coffee.
I drank your coffee once, Mr. Armstrong. It's special, I'll give you that. It's worth a sip just for the experience.
Oh, you make me so happy, monsieur. You are most welcome anytime.
I said it was worth one sip, and nothing more.
So old Mr. Kudo arrived at the restaurant around the same time as the victim. Maybe I should ask about his arrival in more detail. Okay. What time was it? Out of curiosity, about what time was it when Mr. Kudo arrived? Okay. So, autopsy report between 1:30 and 2:30. Okay.
Oh no, I cannot remember, monsieur.
I believe we were told by a witness yesterday.
The crime was reported at 2:25 p.m. by a kind of scary old man, sir.
Does that perhaps jog your memory, witness?
The incident happened about 20 minutes after you arrived. So the victim must have arrived between 2 o'clock p.m. and 2:10 p.m., no?
Okay. Just after 2, huh?
Thank you for your help in jogging my memory, monsieur. You are wonderful.
I can't sit here all the time and do nothing now, can I?
Nah. Sure.
By the time of day will be added to the witness's testimony.
Oui, monsieur judge. Everything I do it for you.
Merci bien. That's French, isn't it?
I'm glad at least one person is in a good mood. He's even humming a song to himself. I remember the old man arrived not long after him, just after 2 p.m. Okay. Are you absolutely sure about the time?
When I think really odd, I am sure it was just after 2, oui.
Okay, what time is the drawing? 1:30. Most thrilling 10 minutes. Okay. So the drawing only goes from 1:30 to 1:40. So that doesn't add up.
It is the time I stopped serving in the lunch menu.
Quite right. I always break for lunch when the restaurants are serving their specials. I've been known to wind up a case early just to make it on time.
I guess you should never get between a hungry judge and his lunch.
Oh, would you look at that? It's almost lunchtime.
No. Witness, get on with your testimony, please. There were no other customers. I don't see anything wrong with that, but we'll press it anyway. So your only customers were Mr. Kudo and the victim.
How many times do you need to ask the same thing, Trite? You never catch me drinking the same blend twice.
Huh?
You're trying to establish the presence of a phony victim in the restaurant, but you're wasting your time. You can't grind birdseed to make coffee, if you catch my drift.
What kind of drink would it be? But there's a hole in his testimony somewhere, I'm sure of it. When he got word he won the lottery, Mon Elg became very excited. Okay. Did you see him?
No, it was in the kitchen, but I heard him. I remember him shouting, "Yes, have $1 million."
Presumably the defendant heard that too. Then correct.
That was a weird delivery, sorry.
Maggie? She looked like a poor little frightened dove.
And what about Mr. Kudo?
The old man choked on some birdseed that got stuck in his throat.
It seems we now have yet another incident on our hands.
Okay, it was approximately 5 minutes later that the poisoning occurred. Okay, yeah, that doesn't add up. Because then the poisoning would have happened at 1:45 and not 2. So... kind of jumping the gun here, but... Yeah! Got it! Woo! I'm afraid I finally got you, Mr. Armstrong.
What is qua? Qua? What do you mean?
At the time in question, the victim was listening to the radio with his earpiece. Man, for feeling so shaky every time a new cross-examination starts, I feel like I've been doing pretty good. The show he was listening to was Millionaire Radio. Each week, they announced the winning numbers on the $500,000 lottery ticket.
Oui, that must be the show Mon Elg was listening to.
I can't see any problem with his testimony, Mr. Wright.
I wonder... You said the victim arrived at your restaurant after 2 p.m., correct?
Oui, I am sure of it. I remember it perfectly now. I know it was that time because I had just finished serving the lunch menu.
Get to the point, Trite, if you have one.
That show is broadcast live at 1:30 p.m., and it claims to be the most thrilling 10 minutes of your life. Thank God it says that, by the way.
It's on the air at 1:30.
Now, supposedly, the victim made some noise when it was announced that he had won. And yet, I don't believe his cry of joy could have occurred at 2 p.m. because the show had already finished more than 30 minutes earlier by that point in time.
No!
This victim we've been told about has done nothing but the impossible. Listening to the radio with a ruptured eardrum, catching a show that was already over. There's only one conclusion you can draw from these facts. The victim was an imposter, acting out the poisoning 30 minutes after the real murder. 30 minutes after, huh? Okay. That's interesting. Yes, there were 2 Glen Elgs in Tribulations that day. Who the hell was the other? The real Glen Elg, now dead, having been poisoned by the real killer. And the phony Glen Elg acting out the events for Mr. Kudo to witness.
It certainly seems that way. I mean, if that wasn't the case, how could you explain the time discrepancy? Quite a performance, Trite. You were almost on a roll. But sadly, you lack the rock-hard foundation of rhythm to build your song.
What is this? Music Theory 101? It's not even music theory, Phoenix.
Let's recap. According to your imaginative theory, it's now just after 2 p.m. The phony Elg is performing a play for the benefit of Mr. Kudo. How do you explain, then, where the real Glen Elg is?
Well, I guess he would be in the kitchen, right? I don't believe I have to spell this out for the court. However, at that time, the real Glen Elg was already dead.
That's certainly the obvious conclusion. Thank you, Trite. That's exactly what I was hoping you would say.
What?
Now, I presume you can prove this theory of yours. Can you explain where the missing corpse went to?
The missing corpse?
According to the old man's testimony, there was only one other customer there. If that customer was the phony Glen Elg, then where did the killer hide the body of the real victim?
It would have to be the kitchen, and I think I know how to prove it.
The prosecution has a valid point, Mr. Wright. If your theory is to stand up to the examination by the court, you must provide us with the proof by answering the prosecution's question. Where did the killer hide the body?
Yes, Your Honor.
No conjecture, Trite. Let's hear some facts for once. Show the court a piece of evidence that proves where the body was hidden.
Evidence? What's with the intense pressure in here all of a sudden? This happens a lot. I thought I had him with that contradiction. But he's turned it all around and backed me into a corner instead.
Well, Mr. Wright, the court will now hear the defense's theory and evidence. First, where was the body of the real Mr. Elg concealed?
Okay, it would be inside Tribulations. It would have been too dangerous to take the body outside. Obviously, the body must have been hidden somewhere inside Tribulations.
Interesting. But where could a body have been hidden inside the restaurant? Perhaps you would care to show the court on these plans, Mr. Wright.
Yes, Your Honor. The exact location where the body was concealed inside Tribulations is in the kitchen. The body was hidden here.
I see. Nice supposition. But the real question is, can you back it up? Where's the evidence that proves the body was hidden in that location?
Okay, I'm assuming it's probably the medicine bottle that we found in there. That's the only thing tied to the kitchen at all. So assuming he was in the kitchen and not outside, which I doubt it would be outside because they had me, pointed out on a map. So I don't have a map of the outside. Yeah, found in the kitchen. Mr. Armstrong, do you recognize this bottle?
No. I have never seen that ugly bottle before in my life. I only use the very best bottles, monsieur. The highest quality only for me.
Where was that bottle found, Mr. Wright?
Interestingly enough, Your Honor, it was found in the kitchen of Tribulations.
Quoi? But I only ever use these bottles for my aromatherapy oils.
But this bottle doesn't contain aromatherapy oil, Mr. Armstrong. No, it contains a medication.
What kind of medication?
I'm sure everyone remembers, don't they? That Mr. Elg visited that word clinic and was given the medication that day.
You can't be serious.
The defense had the contents of the bottle analyzed, and I have the lab results here. The contents of the bottle matched the prescription that was given to Mr. Elg. Glenn Elg's murderer hid the body in the restaurant kitchen, at which time this bottle fell out of the victim's pocket. Mr. Armstrong, when the incident occurred, didn't you say you were in the kitchen?
Mon Dieu!
Yes, you know what I'm about to say. It was you who hid the victim's body. There's no way Maggie was carrying it. You did a fine job pretending to defend my client, Maggie Bird. However, you were setting her up to take the fall behind the poor girl's back.
No!
Order! This is an extraordinary development. Witness, did you murder Mr. Glenn Elg?
Never! I could not do such an horrible thing.
No!
What the hell?
No! Mr. Godot? The bitterness. Every time I get lied to, I always down a mug of coffee. That's one of my rules.
Whatever. Do you have the slightest idea how many cups you've had by now?
Then I like to do the same to the person who lied to me. I'd like to take them down with my empty cup. Listen up, chef. How about a brand new flavor in your ear, my H-deficient friend?
Je vous demande pardon. Please, you must hear me out. It is a trap. Listen to me. Por favor.
Yo hablo español, Mr. Armstrong, and por favor, it's Spanish. I'm only going to ask you once. Did you do it?
No. Absolutely no.
Let's hear it. You've got one shot, right, Gramps? Witness, the court will permit you the chance to make one final statement. If you lie under oath again, Mr. Godot's coffee mug awaits you.
We're sanctioning this now.
As does my gavel.
Okay, you just mean you're going to sentence. You don't mean you're going to throw it at him. Okay.
Oui, it is clear.
What do they always say in the movies? I've got a bad feeling about this.
Very well. Begin your final testimony, Mr. Armstrong.
All right, let's go. What do you got?
It is true. I hid the body in the kitchen. A man forced me to do it. I had no choice. I had to go along with him because there was a reason why I could not refuse. But I did not kill him. I swear it. You must believe me.
I don't...
You were forced? By who?
I cannot say, or I will be erased.
Let's try a different question then. When Mr. Elg died, was he really the only person at his table?
There was... There was another man.
Yup.
I knew it. Maggie was telling the truth.
You may cross-examine the witness now, Mr. Wright.
There's just one more thing I need to do. I gotta break this guy and get him to tell us the name of the real killer. Come on, Mr. Armstrong. You can't live like this. It is true I hid the body in the kitchen. Did you carry the body by yourself?
Oui, I carried him, and I carried Maggie too.
Maggie too?
When she saw the victim collapse,
She fainted, and you planted the evidence on her.
I could not leave her there.
But why did you hide the bodies?
A man forced me to do it. I had no choice. What man? Who was he?
No, I cannot say. I fear for my life.
He's really scared. You'll just have to put the words in his mouth, Nick. Yeah, you're right. If he won't tell me, I'll tell him.
But why would you go along with this man?
Okay. I had to go along with him because there was a reason why I could not refuse. And what reason would that be, Mr. Armstrong?
You know, monsieur.
Yes?
Surely you cannot expect a young maiden to talk about such an embarrassment.
A maiden? You're a bit old to get away with that. and a bit too male. I don't judge. I can't finish the cross-examination without establishing his reason. So I'll just have to prove it, with evidence. I mean, yeah.
But I did not kill him, I swear, you must believe me.
So, you are claiming that all you did was hide the bodies, is that correct?
Oui, that's right.
If we are to believe you, Mr. Armstrong, you must tell the court everything. You must make clear the identity of the man who ordered you to do this.
He's already confessed this much. He might as well stop dancing around the real issue. Yeah, but he really doesn't want to tell us who the killer is. Then sock it to him, Nick. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Okay. It's true I hid the body in the kitchen. A man forced me to do it. Okay. Do I just tell him it's... Okay, that's the right answer. Let's end this dance of Ring Around the Rosie, Mr. Armstrong. This is the man you've been referring to.
Who is that? I feel like I've seen him somewhere before.
You have. Oh, I don't know. Maybe a month ago in this very courtroom? This man is Furio Tigre. He's the manager of a loan office called Tender Lender. There's no point in trying to hide the truth anymore, Mr. Armstrong. I know you couldn't go against Mr. Tigre. At least, not while he had this on you. You're dead. A $500,000 loan from a black market loan shark. And you had no way of paying it back, did you? That's why you were forced to do anything this man told you.
Oui, it is as you say.
Whew. Broke him. Mr. Armstrong.
The tiger. He told me he was going to use my restaurant for a business rendezvous. On the day in question, he was meeting the victim to demand that he repay his loan. I don't know why it happened like that. I just did what he told me to. I had no choice. I carried the body and the inconscient Maggie out of the dining area and into the kitchen. After that, I just tried to forget what I had seen.
I think we can now safely say that the man who forced your hand was Mr. Furio Tigre.
I do have one further question for you, Mr. Armstrong. The poison and the lottery ticket were found in the defendant's apron pocket. Was that your doing as well?
No, I knew nothing about that.
Okay.
Making it look like it was Maggie who had done it. I was not. It is despicable.
Mr. Godot, you will summon this Furio Tigre as a witness. I doubt that can be arranged today, so we will adjourn for now. Proceedings will continue tomorrow.
Okay.
30 minutes. What? The trial will go on. I'll see to it myself. I need half an hour to get that guy on the stand. Not a minute more.
That's impressive. How are you going to do that? How the...
Don't sit back and relax yet, Trite. No one knows if that chef is really telling the truth or not. This trial could still go either way. Very well. Your request is granted, Mr. Godot. We will resume once Mr. Tigre is ready to take the stand. Until then, court is adjourned for a 30-minute recess.
All right. Well, things are looking a lot more clear now. And I suppose that is it. This trial is a lot of fun. I actually really like this case quite a bit. Not to spoil my opinions on it, but I am a fan. Well, after completely losing my voice doing that Armstrong voice for some reason, thank you all for watching this episode of Let's Play Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trials and Tribulations Blind. I've been Guildmaster Wiggly. If you enjoyed the video, please consider giving it a like. If you are new, consider subscribing. If you want to follow my socials or join my Discord, they're in the description. And I hope to see you all next time when we catch a tiger.